Hello, welcome. I'm Jane Kennard, and I'm joined with Joanna Pettit and Clark Wright, and we're having another wonderful session tonight, I hope. Joanna and I actually had a few questions. We're thinking about past lives, and we're sort of wondering if maybe that would be something that everybody would be interested in, or maybe want to ask a question about, or we thought maybe we would talk about that for a bit at the beginning and see where that goes. What do you think, Joanna?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. A lot of people are very interested in past lives, but of course, not everyone has any memories. In fact, probably most people don't. Perhaps older your soul is, the more your past lives are present. And I also know a woman whose young daughter, as soon as she began to speak, started talking about a past life. So sometimes very small children have these past life memories, which then um, disappear as they get older. And I remember talking to the guide about that, and the suggestion was that the child was very evolved, and I think that probably the
Mm-hmm.
more evolved you are spiritually, the the closer, the more lives you've had, the closer they are. I
Yeah,
yeah,
I would think that true. And I do think there seems to be something in the system of the memory that there are I guess it's a vibration that comes with you, your vibrational code that contains the memories of these past lives. And as I would think, as that person becomes so evolved, that their vibration is very high and very full, and those bits and pieces might come through quite easily for a child.
yeah,
And then it's, our society, well, in North America, very few people believe in reincarnation. There are other places in this world where it's just as natural as can be. It's part of their belief system. But for us, it isn't. And I think children get talked out of having their past lives or past memories. It's like, oh, you're nonsense. Don't talk about that. Just this is what we believe and you don't talk about it. So I think it can be hard for some children.
well, I think it can, depending on how the parents deal with it. In the case that my friend's daughter, um, she had quite, she talked a lot about, her father, her mother. She even gave names, and she told about where she had died, which was really uh, something that could even be looked up and proven. So that was really interesting. But I know that my friend was quite concerned that she didn't want to harm her daughter's growth in this life. And when she asked a guide about it, and the guide said, "No, your job now is to ground your child in this life." And
Mhm.
yeah, so that's what happened.
I
But
think that's very true. I don't think you should. Well, it's really a hard one, I suppose, but children need to find out who they are. And it's an interesting thing because I've been asking my guides about reincarnation, how much, should be talked about. And for them, they're not really big on telling you a whole lot about your past life because you're here. This is the life you should be concentrating on and present in. And yes, if some of it filters through phobias, fears, like there's all sorts of things you can bring with you from the past life. But with children, listen, don't dismiss it, but don't encourage it either. I would say, yeah, that's very. My own children did it. My daughter had an American accent that was unbelievable, and I used to call her my little mother because she would always be correcting me on things and telling me, well, remember when I was the mother? And I would say, no, I'm the mother this time. But she was quite adamant sometimes.
yeah,
She liked
yeah,
being the mother. And she still does, but we won't get into that. All my kids had past life remembrances.
isn't
Some
that
were terrified of sinking in boats. Where did that come from? It's not something that you have in your regular day-to-day life, and yet there's something there that they have a fear from.
yeah? So I think a lot of these memories they come as feelings, because they're not things we can see or hear. It's really how we feel.
They're a
And
vibration for sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I had, I called it a waking dream, and I don't know, but it was a very powerful dream many years ago when I was in a situation that I was very unhappy and didn't feel that I could could move forward. I felt quite stuck in this situation, and I remember waking up, sleeping, waking up, and there were figures standing around my bed, and they were talking about me. And they were saying, "Oh, isn't it a shame that she doesn't know that she has more than this one life to live, and that she can experience this, and she'll still have a chance, even if she doesn't do everything she wants in this life. She has other lives to do that." And it was the most freeing thing for me. I just thought, "Oh, okay, well, that's good." Sometimes we feel pressure on ourselves to accomplish an awful lot of things that can sometimes even stop us in our tracks and make us immobile. But I found it, and I still find it very freeing to know that also that I'll see people again in another life that
Yes.
I've known
Yeah.
before.
And it's interesting too when you meet somebody and you instantly like them. You instantly know them. It's like they're so familiar. You know the next word that's going to come out of their mouth, and they'll find out or maybe have a hunch and a feeling that you've known them before. And oftentimes a guide will say, "Well, yeah, you did know this person before," and they've come either maybe to complete a promise with you or you to help them with something like that. It's an interesting thing. It is completely a vibrational memory that comes through smells, through senses, through feelings. Sounds can actually spark up past life memories. It's very interesting. I know I've even seen it in my grandchildren when they were just tiny. I remember one of my granddaughters, she would put socks on her arms like they were long gloves. Like, I don't wear gloves like this, nor does her mother. And she'd wear these long these socks, and she'd wear a purse over her arm. Well, none of us do this anymore. And she'd walk about in this a most adorable thing, and it was so cute. And I think they're just bits and pieces. It doesn't have to be earth shaking. They don't have to be awful things you remember from past lives. It can also be a fashion statement,
Of
perhaps.
course.
It's really kind of cute.
Well, it's interesting too because you talk about someone you have an instant liking for or connection, or you might have a strong averse reaction to them, and that is another signal that there's work to be done with this. If out of nowhere you just have that reaction, that's
Yes.
probably from a past life too.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. Yeah, someone you instantly just feel, no, this person is it's going to cost me a lot of work, and that may be the very fact that the promise might be a lot of work, but
Yeah.
then just wait.
Yes. Well, I know that old souls who've lived many lifetimes, um, there's sometimes they've come through and they're not with their cohort, if you know what I mean. They're not with the group of. We
Yes,
often do come through with people that we've known before because we have promises, as we talked about before, to experience both sides of everything. But if you've had a lot of lives, you might come through in your last life, and or maybe people are long behind you. Maybe it would be 10 years before they're coming through. So
yes,
yeah, it's interesting. I think
yes.
people who we sometimes people who return really quickly might have some difficulties.
That
Just-
can happen quite well, quite often, actually. If a person is in a hurry to return because if they got interrupted for some reason and they were doing something they really loved and they wanted, so they found a way of being reborn and coming back, and that can be really to the life because they're not with anyone that they really know very well, not maybe even the parents they haven't had a life with before. So they can feel really estranged. Sometimes they can feel really lonely. And also it'll happen sometimes when a being does not want to come back very quickly, and they have to be coaxed to return to complete their promises. And they also can be out of sync with the familiar beings that they have known for many lifetimes.
Yeah.
Either way, it can cause them to be quite lonely. And I think understanding that you're just out of sync a bit, that those beings are still going to be in the process and will be meeting up with you at some point, maybe 50 years from now, but they will be meeting up with you at some point. It seems
So
a natural thing.
yeah, in my
Yes.
case, I always find that the people that I feel for 5 years younger than me. So maybe I came back a little early, but I still meet these people and we still made the connections. It's interesting just to think about,
Yes,
though. Yeah,
it really is. It is interesting to see how we all work it out.
and
Are there any questions?
it's yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. We could ask a question. I know we have a couple of them. Clark, do you think it okay? Oh, this is Lori Sue. She spoke to us last time, I think. She is saying in response to this specific query, I think she has some ideas of that she may have had a past life as a concubine, a slave, a barrister, and a prisoner in a concentration camp. Maybe we should ask the guides about this. Um, she would like to know if she's correct on any of these feelings that she has.
That's interesting. Hi, Lori Sue. That's interesting that you would have those feelings. You must have some sort of memories that don't fit this life and are there. I know I have a very dear friend who was a prisoner in a past life, and we discovered this through a guide. I'll have to channel to find out the exact things for her, but he was held prisoner in a dirt pit in another country than this one, and he had bugs and creatures on it. And in this life, he had the most difficult time because he had eczema on his whole body. And the fact that they could not find anything to relieve it was he did some past life regression and found out that this was the situation. And it's really fascinating how the body will find ways of bringing this forward for you to heal it. He's, I think, not doing too badly now, but yeah, had a really difficult time. But we'll have to channel that one because I myself don't know why she would have those, but why not? You could definitely have, very different past lives. How about you, Johanna? Do you ever think about your past lives? I know of one.
I know of some of my past lives, but basically it's from talking to the guides. I don't think I have any strong memories of it, really. But Catherine, who's asking another question about her past lives, I'll read you this and then maybe we can channel and bring the guides through.
Okay.
Catherine says, what is the relevance of remembering past lives? I have many memories of many lives. The best was looking at the newly finished Great Pyramid under the night sky. Oh, that would be an amazing memory.
No kidding. I wonder if you were a builder of the pyramids or one of the anointed ones that would be built for, or how interesting is that? That would be a wonderful memory to have. What is the purpose of it? I don't think, as I said, I don't think guides, the purpose of remembering, the purpose that you've had them is your evolution. You've lived before. This is all part, you must experience every part of the human condition. And it would take more than one lifetime to do that. So that is the case. As to purpose of remembering, I think there could be something within it that you need to yet to learn. Maybe you need yet to express or meet up with somebody from that time, and it's just an awakening of that part of you. When these if they're really frightening things, then of course there's something you need to find out about and heal, because it's be like dragging around an albatross forever, not ever dealing with it. Even terrible things you happen in the present life you're in, if you don't deal with things, they become just heavier and heavier and more intense. And I would imagine from a past life, I know that many people from the Holocaust, if they don't deal with that pain, they carry it with them forward. And you'll even hear about people saying that groups of people, that they never get over their pain, and they have memories that are not theirs, but they're memories of this horrific things that have happened to people. Some of these memories are just a vibrational state that they have to work through to get past. It's because we're all energy.
Maybe some of them came back too early before they'd had a chance to kind of resolve what had happened to them in that previous lifetime.
Yes.
You asked me about a past life, and I'll just quickly say that I felt when I went to Greece, I just felt the most peaceful, wonderful feeling of being at home in a place that was really familiar to me. And I was told later that I had had a very happy life in the hills there. So that's really nice, just that these remembrances we have too. They don't have to always be horrific.
No, they don't. And it's wonderful to have that familiar feeling, that it's not grounded in anything in your life. It's just a knowing that all is well. I think that's a wonderful feeling. And also perhaps just knowing the continuum. Not so much in North America. We like to think that we have another chance at it. Probably because we have life pretty good here, but there are other cultures that don't like the idea that they have another. They want to make sure they're finished completely, that they get to move on to the next realm, that they don't want to come back to another life. But most people in the North America like the idea of another chance.
I certainly do. So what do you think?
Yeah.
Should we ask the guides about these topics?
What do you think? Is it time to channel? How are we doing? How about if I light my candle and set an intention? I ask in the name of the highest, the brightest, and the purest, for healing energy, for healing words, for those who ask. Actually, and healing for our wonderful world. It is having such a difficult time right now. Clark, could I have? Thank you. I have to have my anchor. Okay, Joanna, Clark, and all you wonderful, wonderful beings that we're all together gathered in this circle. I'll talk to you later. Hello, my dear.
Hello and welcome.
My blessings. I welcome you far and wide.
Have we spoken before?
Many times.
Well, we were just talking about past lives and how sometimes they bleed over into our current life. Do you have any comments about that? We have a couple of questions from people, but I wonder if you would have anything to say about that idea.
It isn't more than an idea, my dear.
Yeah.
It is the continuum, the process. It matters not how many matters that the growth is attained, the learning is accomplished, the vibration is heightened. You're all such magnificently beautiful beings of light, and every element of the human condition must be experienced. Some of these are very short experiences, and some are long and filled with many wondrous expressions of light and love. Truly, the human experience is an expression of love in all its forms, and that will contain some things of anger and hate and frustration, and then its opposite side of acceptance and love and patience. You see, you take every instant and see what's from all sides of the circle. That you must learn. Far too much for one short but most magnificent life.
And we spoke about this last time, that you have to experience both sides of something. So you might have a lifetime with being a daughter, and then you might have another life with that person. And in that case, you were the father, or you a different role, but you have to experience both sides or all sides of
Yeah,
everything.
the element, it's true that the learning is completely up to you. The physical world will contain certain elements that will accentuate the growth, present the opportunity. There's friction in the physical world, as you know, my dear. There's
Yeah.
friction. The element of whether you be male or female is an element of chance created by the physical world. Your spirit is neither male or female. It is a spirit of pure light and love. But it might be very familiar with having the experience of one sex or the other for many lifetimes, and thus that you might find that that is something that you might have to learn about. But in truth, the spirit learning is all the different conditions that the human experience offers it.
Right. Would it be time to ask one of the questions from the people who are with us tonight?
I
Um,
can answer, or another being will for sure. Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, I'll start with Lori Sue's question. She would.
Laurie Sue, what a lovely name. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is. She's asking, I think, about things that she has felt, that she had a past life as a concubine, a slave, a barrister, and a prisoner in a concentration camp. And she'd like to know if any of these are correct.
Yes. Yes, my dear, all are correct. Actually, because you had many of these feelings very, very early in life before you even have an understanding of sexuality. That there would definitely be a feeling of being used and being not having an opportunity to have your own voice. This was very much so. Also, the power that you very much strive to find in your life now comes from being the barrister, for sure, but also in a time when the laws were quite unfair. So you might find yourself fighting for justice more so than others. You see, you take that you learned, and through not necessarily conscious memory, but the vibrational memory, you have a part of you that is very, very willing and understanding of all many acts of it, and we will find you will want to further and strengthen that knowledge. That very often these memories especially when they have no place or form in your physical life, but they are very clear to you, that they have are. It's not that you're being haunted, it's just part of you, it's part of who every cell of your body has its own vibration. It has its own song and music and memory. And you created every cell in this body for this purpose of life you walk in now. And so some of that those memories will place in a part in this one you are present in. And you repeat that you have done. It means that you take it and you become the enrichment of it and move forward with it.
Right.
Mm.
Well, thank you. I was going to ask before I start with another question that we have. How is it that you, as a guide, a spirit guide, how do you
Mhm.
connect with the
Mm.
person asking the question? And I don't know even where Lori Sue lives, but you instantly were able to connect
Mm.
with her, and it seems
You
with
are the separated. You are living in a physical world that has a need for you to be in containment and separation. It's part of the learning of the physical. You see, I am not separated from any of you. I am of the oneness, and it has all and separate. I maintain who I be, but I am one of all. And so the thoughts, the prayers, the feelings, they are all as if they are veins amongst your body. The body of oneness is total communication. You think that your computers have communication. You have nothing on us.
well, it is amazing and miraculous and wonderful to know that. I know that when we're in bodies walking around, we often feel disconnected and lonely, and
Oh,
that's why
and the,
I feel it's just so important that people know the support that's there for us in spirit.
yes, it is natural to know and understand that we be with you as it is for you to be in the body thinking and questioning and breathing. We are part of the whole thing. But to learn to come to the place where you must ask for assistance or remembering or a feeling of growth or fear that needs to be dealt with, we are there to help you with this. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm going
We
to
can't
ask.
do it for you, unfortunately. Mm-hmm.
No, that's true, and sometimes we need to maybe a little push here and there, and you might give us those too sometimes.
Well, if you were to ask a question that would be find a way to answer it in a way that would offer you keys to open the doors instead of the direction in which or the place in which the door was. You see, we must never, if any being was to take away your choice, your growth, then know for sure that they be from an ego of a filter that is far not what we are.
Right.
We would only ask that you trust and be willing to follow your own heart with the help and the leading with the light that we shine on you.
And so that's why it's so important for us to ask these questions. Well,
Yes.
I have a question about past life from Catherine. Catherine asks, what is the relevance of remembering past lives? I have many memories of many lives. The best was looking at the newly finished Great Pyramid under a night sky.
Oh, yes. And how they gleamed, because they shone beautifully then and reflected all the stars and the light. What a wonderful memory, my dear. Absolutely. What is the point of these memories? Well, are you not blessed to have this wonderful memory? Are you not blessed to know that that lies within you a wealth that you alone have experienced? It shows your wealth, it shows your evolution. These memories that you have chosen to bring forward and to see, it wasn't placed upon you to be tripped over as if a rock on the road. They are blessings. In order to grow forward, you should take that memory and go with it. You've often thought about writing about it, about picture painting it, making it more clear for others. But in truth, my blessed one, it is within your vibration, and that is all it needs to be. You're a very creative person, and you do attempt very often, but you're trying to give other people something that they need to find within themselves often. If you could connect within them, then you would find your passion, my dear. Oh, I'm sorry, I spoke too much.
don't
The
think so.
purpose is to create your creativity. Yes.
Yes, and we do, even if we don't remember past lives, I know that we connect with them through places where we go and just have a feeling, or through people that we meet that we have maybe some compassion for, or frustration with, that tells us there's some growth there or some connection that we feel. And
And if you could just sit in that memory and be open to it or the feeling and not talk yourself out of it would be the greatest blessing you would give yourself. Too often there's wonderful image or a feeling, oh no, that's just nonsense. It's some old puritanical belief that you couldn't possibly be in touch with the God power inside of you. It's such nonsense. You have it at your fingertips. You are very much part of that essence of light. All of you are.
well, that's beautiful to hear, and I think we need to remember that sometimes we get feeling down and we lose the connection. And are there ways that
Mm.
you could suggest that we could? Is meditation a good way, or walking in nature, that we can connect with our spirit?
Oh, all of those ways, but mostly try not to be so um, expecting it. Free your being, free yourself, free your toes to walk in the sand and the water, to feel the elements of your physical world against your being, that not as a push against you, but as an embrace, as a wonderful opportunity. You often feel that life is a struggle. And not you, and you know, my dear, you have had difficulties for sure. But often beings feel like that life is being put upon them instead of knowing that you are in the most fortunate place. You get to choose to grow, to expand, to express love through the eyes of the wonder of being in a human body. What a wonderful opportunity. So, in order to want to do this, don't make yourself struggle against it, but to flow with it. You often take a pen and paper and draw and scribble and make motions and movements. These are all expressions of you. Your
Yeah.
vibration is music.
It
Let it
is.
live. Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
it's true. Oh, we
Hmm.
have another question
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
from Cam Lam. Jane and guides, thank you. When I was about 3 years old, I used to get a nightly visitation from a mother and father figure from another lifetime. Can you comment on that?
Ah, well, my dear, you absolutely did. You had memories of their love and light. You've had a difficult time, my dear, and often felt that you didn't fit in amongst many things. You returned quite quickly and found yourself in a place of there are many expectations of you. But even from that lifetime, there were limitations on you that you have fought very hard to release yourself from. Oh, I go on too much. It is true, my dear. You do have memories from that past life. They have faded over time, but they are still very present with you. You still often feel like you don't totally fit with your world, but you're wise and wondrous, and you're learning how to accept each and every one of them without judgment, without prejudice, with this love. This is the best way to be, my love.
And so he asks if there's any significance to it in his current life.
I think I told him. I think he felt out of place and a little uncomfortable then and is still sort of with it, and so needs to find peace being, within being.
Yes, I think sometimes we all need a bit of that. It's too easy for us to get trapped in old feelings or old habits, or feeling overwhelmed by the details and the responsibilities of our lives, which I know we're here to take on. Do you have any advice for those of us who feel that?
One of the strongest elements of the physical domain is bonding with people. It should happen at birth, but it doesn't always. And so the seeking to find that love, that bond that is present in the oneness, in the spirit of love. The seeking and the searching of that is often what plagues many beings. Instead of being a joyful expression, right now in your physical world, many are tuning and bonding with fear and negativity. And this causes much discord within the spirit. It is true. So we have come, and many of us will be, you'll find, more present in the physical world. The spiritual presence of entities with you will try to tell you that you are loved, that you are completely acceptable and wonderful and perfect in every expression that you may create for your life. This is one of the great sadness in the physical world right now, is that the bonds are made not with other human beings, but often with substances or entertainment or amusements, or things that are not truthful, that are artificial. And the artificial will never give you the bond of love that they're seeking, who many people are seeking. It is true, one human being to another, that bond of love. It is the element of God.
Yes, I feel that strongly. And it's interesting how we get almost just attracted to other things that
Mm-hmm.
keep us busy, or our phones, our email, the computer,
Mm-hmm.
and games and things like that, rather than having a strong connection by going for a walk with a dear friend, or sitting with a cup of tea with a friend, or partners just doing special things together. Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to have any one person. I see some going out just to be in a crowded place and trying to catch the eye or meet with another and just have an instant sharing. That bond doesn't need to take a whole lot of time. It doesn't need to take years. It just seems to be an instant of knowing, there you are. I love you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Don't be
Sometimes,
afraid to say I love you. Yes. Loving is a wonderful energy.
but
Many
sometimes,
facets.
sometimes for me, it's just like catch the eye of someone, and we'll just acknowledge each other and smile, and that's a bond. That's important too.
Perfect. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's wonderful to talk to you like this. Would you be able to answer another question about from Richard, who was curious to know a little about his past lives?
I certainly will. Mm.
Looks like we have another guide coming through now. This may be Richard's guide.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Hello. Are you the guide for Richard?
Are you Joanna?
Yes, I am, Joanna.
Then yes, I be the guide for Richard.
Yes. Richard is curious to know a little about his past lives.
So the question is just the curiosity, the quiet, deep question is, why do I feel this way about much of my life? You came from a very happy time, a very happy, full life, and you chose this one you are in to help others. To help others in a way that you never really assumed you would be almost forfeiting your own growth in your own life to do so. Does that help?
It's difficult because Richard's not in the conversation now. He's just put the question in. I'm sure it's helpful for him, and if he wants further explanation, he could respond. And you are a personal guide with him. Looks like Jane's coming back. Oh, no, we have another guide. Hello?
You could call me that, yes.
What would you prefer? Was there a better word?
Oh, let me see. What would be a good word for me? Sister Mary Ellen.
Sister Mary
One of
Ellen?
my.
Well, and is that a name that you had in a lifetime?
Yes. Yes.
Would you like to
I find this most interesting that people are somewhat hesitant to speak to us, and we're just clamoring to speak to all of you. But
I know. Well, Richard was talking to a previous guide about some past life memories, and he is now asking anything about a shaman life.
Well, I wouldn't be the one to answer that, but I do know that one tries not to be who he is, tries very hard to disappear most of the time and dissolve into other realms because of some difficulties. But I'm not the one who should answer that. So perhaps is there a question I could answer?
Well, I'm going to invite anyone who's watching to put a question into the chat. Meanwhile, I can ask a question about, we have a question here from Pooja Gupta. Any message from my guides for my spiritual journey?
You know, one of the greatest things you can do is to ask something that's concrete to help you because you're feeling very, very you like a ritual, you like to follow something, you want to belong to something. It's very important because you came from a time when life was very regulated, almost like being in a monastery, a very restricted life before. And so you find even now you're drawn to that again, and you see this is a bit what many times with past lives you come back to complete it, and you may be a different sex, a different position in life, different land, and so you try to find that again to complete the promises of being an individual being. You need to stand separate and trust in your own beliefs, in your own being. Yes, my dears. Yes, my dear. You are loved very much so. Many of you do not realize the, the love that is there for you. Just simply say hello. I need your help. I'm here. I want to walk beside you and in the light with you. And it shall be.
Mm. So if we just ask, you mentioned coming back into a life in a different country, a different situation. We we choose those lives. Is that correct? Before we come in, we choose the lifetime.
Sometimes, sometimes if you're in such a hurry that you just grab the first opportunity possible to
Oh,
take
interesting.
place between beings, yes. Sometimes if yes, there have been instances when there had been an incomplete conception and there was an opportunity for it to happen again, and you completely just jumped in, and so everybody could be completely unknown to you. But most of the time, there are a group of spirits, beings, souls such as yourself, that will all sort of travel together through the circles of life, and they will be, sometimes you might be. Your father's mother, you might be, what I'm trying to speak to you, the different positions of life's path can be
Mhm.
all played out in different ways for you. And you just need to understand that no matter what the positions, that the element of growth at hand is what your choices are.
Right. And so the element of growth then we would be something that we've been working on in previous lifetimes that we still
It
have
could be,
to
it could
continue.
be, it could be, or you could be a brand new soul and have no idea about any of it.
Right. Would that happen that you would be
Sometimes
a
all
brand
the
new
time is
soul?
spent between lives where you have time to create promises with others to complete elements of growth. Many
Mhm.
promises are shared between many entities together. They might all come together to complete that growth, each take their part in the growing, and each must do their part in the growing. Otherwise, the promise is not complete. And if you do not complete a promise, it's not the end of the opportunity. There may be another one at another time, whether it's in that life path or another yet to be.
Right. Thank you.
Promises are elements of growth. You make it only to yourself, and it's owed. You will judge only yourself. You will not. There's no. What is it they say now? A book. There's no rules to this, my dear. You are responsible for your own growth, and you don't realize this until you evolve quite some time. You might think that there has to be some kind of rule or regulation, but as your being evolves, it realizes that no, the responsibility to your growth is you, and you will judge yourself, and hopefully with love and light and not harshly. But there will be times when you will judge yourself harshly as part of your growth too. The human condition does seem to like to do that, though it's not a necessary part. It seems to be a choice.
Well, I like what you said about there not being a rule book, that, we're the masters of our growth. We take
Yes,
it on and we achieve it, or to some degree achieve it, or miss certain parts, but that's not the end of it because we'll get a chance to try it again.
yes,
Yeah, I find that very freeing, actually.
it
We have,
should be.
yeah. Um, Lori Sue is asking another question. She asked earlier about the importance of our pets in our lives. And she specifically was
Mhm.
referring to Dulcinea. I guess this is a pet of hers. But for all present, she's asking, can our pets also be our soulmates? She thinks they are.
This word soulmate is an interesting one. It's bandied about in so many different ways. And does it mean there's only one that your soul could be touched by, or only one that you could have such intense communication with? No, there are many incarnations of different beings. Sometimes it is the same being, sometimes it is different ones, but very often these lovely creatures that have come to teach you about unconditional love, it doesn't have to be a soulmate. It just means that they have come to be with you and to help you to grow. If you like the word soulmate, then so use it if it gives you comfort. But in truth, Blessed One, this being came with the one purpose of being with you. So why not? Just accept it. Don't make it fit anything other than just the wonder that this being is. Such as yourself. Do not try to force yourself to be something that you're not. Be that radiant light that you are. Bless you, my dear. You are loved.
Thank you. I must say that animals are such a wonderful gift to us. I just feel that they are like
Teachers.
Teachers. Yes. Yeah, they come to teach us love.
They are healers and teachers. They love unconditionally. They have only the desire that you should be happy. And that is an amazing thing if you realize it, that some beautiful energy, some beautiful being would come just to support you and to love you. And you may think that you did all the work to find them, but in truth, you were led there most often when it comes to these creatures of such love. They have a brilliant light, a light that will shine far and wide to lead you to them, or they to you.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely.
I think that I must leave now.
It was very lovely of you to come and speak to us. Thank you.
I love you, my.
I love you too. I think we need to light covered Clark. Yes. When Jane comes back, even the candle is just like a brilliant light in her eyes.
It's green in here.
Yeah.
The room turned green.
Probably very brilliant.
Whoa. Ah.
Well,
Okay.
we had, I'm trying to remember if we had 2 or 3 guides come through.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
The last one was, well, she's told me her name, but I can't remember it now. It's funny how that happens. You're so into it that details like names just go right out of your head. But yeah, they were.
I think vibration actually lifts you to a different place.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, I really do.
And it's really interesting to know how that can happen, even though I'm sitting in my room alone watching this on my screen, and it still works. It still communicates as powerfully as being in the same room with them, I find.
Yeah, it is amazing, isn't it? It very much is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we've had, we're getting on to almost an hour, and I think we've had the opportunity to answer all the questions that came through.
Lovely.
Oh, here's one from Clark. Are our past lives reflected in our dreams? Is that something you might be able to answer, Jane?
I would say yes. I would say, and I'm getting an affirmation that that's right from my guide, that yes, especially if there's an element of growth at hand. Because you know how your dreams, you create your dreams, and often only you can decipher your dreams because you created them. And so if you're bringing back a memory, then there's something in that that you need to revisit, examine, think about, hold. I would say yes. Though I can't say as I've ever had dreams about gold panning, but maybe. Why would I love gold panning?
Well, clearly a past life. But yeah, I know. Oh, Catherine says, I love the vibrations that these bring. She says, thank
Oh,
you. Yeah, it was very wonderful, Jane. We've got just a few minutes for a final um, closing up meditation, perhaps.
okay. Let's do that then. Let's first of all take a deep breath. And I am so thankful to have connected with all these wonderful beings. Those that are connecting through technology and those that we have bonds with, our guides, our spirit guides, the physical people in our lives. And how you feel right now, filled with love and light. Soak it up. Surround yourself in that lovely light and just soak it up like a wonderful big sponge. Send it into your heart and out through your fingertips so that everyone you touch and see and are close to and even think about will receive the love and light that you are filled with. I love you all. Walk in the light. We are one. You are not alone. Love you.
Thank you so much, Jane.
Love you,
Okay.
Joanna. Love you, Clark.
Love you too, Jane.
Love you, everybody. See you
next.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.